Welcome to RBC Simple Finance. Today we're talking about the MetaMask wallet, its anonymity, and what things you need to keep in mind, especially for beginners, so that it truly remains anonymous. All right? Let's get started. Remember that there are more videos on the channel, especially about the MetaMask card, which we analyzed in depth. It's the card for spending cryptocurrencies, for those who don't know. And don't forget to subscribe and give a like if you enjoy the content. If you have any questions, leave them for us in the comments. All right? Let's get started. The MetaMask exchange, as you've already seen in the previous video, is like your personal wallet where you keep all your cryptocurrencies or tokens when you don't want to use a centralized exchange. All right? So what level of anonymity do we have? Well, in principle, we have a good level of anonymity because they don't ask us for any personal information at all. Not an ID, not a foreigner ID, not a passport, no identification, no first or last name, nothing. All right? Normally, we only need to provide an email address or a phone number depending on the situation, since this has changed over time. And basically, they'll give us a username and a password. All right? The password is usually 8 words, which we always have to write down on paper. Never store it on the computer, because if our account, computer, or phone gets hacked, with those keys, they can access our wallet, take everything, and then there will be no way to recover anything. The only thing you'll have to use your wallet are those keys. Without them, we're screwed. And if you lose them, we're also screwed. So be very careful with this. All right? The keys you receive, keep them safe. All the information you use, the 4 pieces of data needed for MetaMask to access and so on, should always be kept safe and never saved automatically on your computer. All right? Okay, once we have this clear, we need to see that the level of anonymity, well, on this side is high. All right? Once we have our wallet created, okay? Since they don't ask us for any information, for now, they don't know who we are. All right, up to this point, everything's fine, but where does anonymity start to get lost? And that's important to keep in mind. In the transactions, when you send cryptocurrencies to your MetaMask wallet or send them somewhere else, those transactions, those money transfers, those are like transfers, right? They are recorded and are completely public. Anyone can see them with programs or whatever, with apps or similar tools, but anyone can see them and track them. So what happens if we send money to an exchange that has KYC where we are registered? In the event that someone wanted to track us. But as I said, this is really only relevant if you're moving a lot of money. For small accounts, it doesn't make much sense. But if they wanted to track you, simply your MetaMask wallet is no longer anonymous, because through that transaction, it can be seen that you sent money to that exchange or received money from that exchange, which has KYC. And if they follow the trail and request information from the exchange, they will provide your data. Of course, at that point, we lose our anonymity because in the end, transactions are public. It's also important because they are traceable and public. Keep in mind the MetaMask card, which we talked about. Check it out on the channel. It's very important that before you get it, you watch the videos because there are things you need to know. All right? The MetaMask card, in order to use it, is ultimately still a MasterCard, and it already has a level of KYC. If you spend your tokens from your WD wallet with the MetaMask card, you're actually revealing your wallet. In other words, there is now a direct link between all your data from the MetaMask card and the wallet from which you spend. I mean, even if it's from an exchange with KYC, but there's only one transaction and you make many transactions in other different places, in the end, you might say, well, maybe it's a transaction to their exchange, or maybe it's from someone else. But if you have a card that directly spends cryptocurrencies from your wallet, it couldn't be any clearer. All right? That way, you've already exposed all the anonymity of your MetaMask wallet, and it's gone down the drain, so to speak. All right? So you also need to avoid these kinds of things. If we want to send from the wallet to another card to spend, what we need to do is use cards without KYC, all right? Or at least ones that are harder to link. Similarly, if we want to send anonymously from MetaMask to another exchange or whatever, make sure they're exchanges without KYC, like Bybit with its limitations, or something like MEXC or similar, which we've analyzed on the channel, all right? Also, keep in mind that if you want to increase your level of privacy a bit within the MetaMask world, so that public transactions aren't so public, you can use, for example, browsers in incognito mode to boost your anonymity a little more. Not by much, but a bit. And for those who are more advanced, they use VPN systems and all that kind of stuff to hide the IP address where the activity is coming from. All right? But anyway, all of this is really for very advanced users, because for a normal beginner user, you really don't need to worry much about any of this. Basically, keep in mind that if you link your MetaMask with an exchange that uses KYC or with the MetaMask card that requires KYC, well, you've already messed up. In other words, you've already lost your anonymity. If you don't care about anonymity, then there's no problem. But keep in mind that if anonymity doesn't matter to you, well, maybe there are other easier ways to use than the MetaMask card. All right? So that's what you need to keep in mind. It's anonymous, yes, as long as you don't link that card through transfers to another place that isn't anonymous and has your KYC. I hope I've helped you. Follow us on the channel.